Thanks for joining me for this third in a series of Walt Disney World Resort photography videos using the Fujifilm X-T3 and the 18 to 55 and 55 to 200 millimeter lenses. On this day, we weren't going to any park, so we didn't have to get up early, and if we wanted to, we could sleep in a little bit. I mean, we were going to go to Disney Springs, but we could sleep in some, but I went ahead and got up early because I wanted to make some more photographs from the Riviera Resort Preferred View balcony where we were staying. So I got up early, made myself a cup of coffee, and enjoyed the sunrise with some photography. Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch at Disney's Riviera Resort, and I've just made another panorama, this time off of our balcony looking out towards Caribbean Beach Resort. I'm really happy with the room that we got because we were in a perfect spot to make panorama photos from the balcony. I guess there's probably some other spots at the resort that it would have been as good, but I don't know if there were any that could have been better. What an awesome view from our room. So this panorama shot was the first of 3 that I made that morning. This one was a 7 shot, relatively early, and I thought, well, this is as pretty as the sky is going to be, so I started putting my gear up, and then the sky started to look like this. I'm like, holy cow, I better make another one. So here's an 8 shot panorama that I made, and I thought that the lake area of this panorama was pretty cool, so I made a cropped version of that same shot. This is just the lake area where you can see the Skyliner, and early in the morning the lake is really smooth and the Skyliner reflection shows up. Later in the day it doesn't. Here's the third panorama, still a little bit later in the morning, and you can see a little bit more golden hour light, and I thought the clouds were beautiful, so I made still another panorama, and then I did a crop of this one with just the lake, and then I did let some of the landscaping and the pool, one of the pools, actually I guess you can see both pools at the Riviera Resort. A little later in the day we were up and at Disney Springs, which is the Disney shopping district. There's restaurants and all sorts of shopping opportunities there. We went to a store called World of Disney, which is kind of I mean, this is where this shirt came from. They have all sorts of Star Wars and Disney World and Disney movie stuff you can purchase there. So we went there and shopped, and then we came outside, and I worked for quite a long time on the following photo. All right, hello, it's Phil, and right now we are at Disney Springs, and I made a photograph of this fountain. I was using the Fujifilm X-T3 and the 55 to 200. I had a 5-stop neutral density circular polarizer combo filter on. I made the World of Disney sign in the background. I turned the polarizing filter so I could get the harsh sun off of these flowers, and I used the neutral density filter so I could get a 1/8 of a second shutter speed and smooth that fountain out. I think it turned out pretty cool. The whole idea of this shot, and the reason I used the longer of my 2 lenses I had with me, was to compress the scene. I wanted the World of Disney sign, which was a long way behind this fountain. I wanted it to look like it was right behind the fountain. So I used a relatively long focal length, 95 millimeters, and I stood back a pretty long way. I had to get kind of down low. There was some picnic tables, and I had to get to where I didn't get the umbrella over the picnic tables in my shot. And it, like I say, it took a while. And what I do on these fountain photos, when I don't have a tripod, I put the camera on its fastest drive mode and do a number of pictures really fast right in a row, holding the camera as steady as I can. And they are usually not all straight and without motion blur. You have to kind of pick and choose through the pictures that you make. But eventually, as you look through, you'll find one that is correct, and that's the way this one was. After I got done making that photo, the girls wanted to do some more shopping, but I was kind of in a photography mood, so I let them go off and shop at all sorts of stores while I wandered around Disney Springs with my camera and tried to find things to photograph. Okay, so there was a number of fountains in the water near Disney Springs, and I was going to do a photo like I did the fountain photo before, where I did several photos in a row trying to get a semi-long exposure, but I picked this one because of the green heron down at the bottom of it. And there's lots of amazing Lego creations all over Disney Springs, and I got a photograph of just the head of this dragon. It's actually out in the water. Here is BB-8 in Lego form, And as you can see, he's in a display area on top of gravel. The dragon is out in the middle of the waterway. And here is a beautiful snowy egret, old golden slippers, doing a little fishing in the waterway at Disney Springs. I had this nice lady pour me a pint of Bud Light, and then I went over to a park bench that was near World of Disney and sat down on that bench and worked on street photography for a while I waited on the girls to get done shopping. And I picked a spot where you could catch a fountain in the background. Here's an entire family masked up for COVID-19. I thought this lady pointing something out to her daughter and her daughter mimicking her and pointing at it was pretty cool. There in front of the waterway, that's a stage behind them where in better times there's music being played. And I thought this little girl looked like Merida from one of the Disney movies as she rode on her father's back. And then here's a security guard checking out the scene, making sure everything is in good shape. He was cool as he walked along at Disney Springs. And the next photograph is another member of the Walt Disney World security team. He was just a handsome dog sitting there, so I got his picture as well. After spending a good bit of time at Disney Springs, we came back to the Riviera Resort and we did some swimming and got some food and just relaxed and enjoyed ourselves. And then around sunset, Heather came with me to this arch that leads from the inside of the Riviera Resort to the outside and over to the Skyliner terminal. And I made some photographs that were actually Heather's idea. All right, so Heather and I are here at this beautiful Riviera Resort in this pass-through tunnel that has these beautiful mosaic tile arches and these beautiful fountains. I'm going to try to do a panorama to get the entire mosaic tile arch and some of the fountain and some of the building in the background. And this tripod is really cool because, I'm not sure if you can see that, but right there is a bubble level. And in addition to the entire head spinning, you can also loosen this and just the top of the tripod head will spin. So if you get that bubble level, then you can do your pano and everything will be straight. So that's a really neat feature of this Sirui, thank you, AM254 tripod. Okay, so when I was setting up for this shot, I had the tripod 2 or 3 feet in front of this concrete for this fountain right here. But I'm shooting that fountain over there. But in order to get the fountain and the entire mosaic tile with this 18mm lens, I've had to scoot it back all the way to here. And let me set my 2-second timer. I've already got everything focused. I'm shooting 3 seconds, f/16, ISO 160. So right there, just cutting off that wall, where that wall sticks out. That's my starting point. There's one. Oh, the next shot's going to be dead center in the middle. Two. Looks like 3 shots will do it. Well, we'll see how that comes out. Really happy so far with that Sirui AM254 tripod and its tripod head that came with it. A little less happy with the GoPro Media mod. I had my microphone plugged in and on and it was using the built-in microphone. But here is that photograph that I made, the panorama. And this is one time when I kind of wish I had brought an ultra-wide lens with me because I could have made this all in one shot instead of having to do a pano. But the panorama came out pretty good and I really like this photograph. Okay, I'm doing one from the other direction. I can get far enough back to get the whole arch in and both fountains. And the key is from this low angle I can get the Skyliner sign. There's a covered walkway that goes to Disney Skyliner on the far side. There's no beautiful lights of the hotel in the background. but it's still pretty cool. And I did a manual exposure bracket HDR, so we'll see how that comes out. And the idea to shoot in this area was Heather. She had seen a professional Disney photographer make a shot here, and so we thought we were going to bring a camera for me and a camera for Heather, but there's one day where all the camera gear, except for what I carry on my back, has to stay just the way the scheduling goes. It has to sit in the car in the hot Florida sun all day. So Heather decided not to bring a camera because she has other stuff to carry besides a camera when we go to the park. I carry a camera, but I didn't want to carry 2 cameras. So anyway, this shooting in this area was Heather's idea, and so thank you, Heather, for noticing how awesome this spot is to do photography. One of the great things about doing photography here is no security guards harass us. I made 2 different versions of this photograph, and I like both of them, so I went ahead and shared both of them with you. This first one, I was a little bit closer, and though a lot of the mosaic tile is cut off, it kind of makes the photograph all about the wall that's in front of the mosaic tile. And this one was a little bit further back, and so this one's all about the mosaic tile with the one of those is tangled, and the one in the background that you can't see all of it, it's Peter Pan themed. Okay, so we've come all the way to the other side of the beautiful mosaic tile area. This is the covered walkway that goes down to Disney's brand new Skyliner transportation system. And I'm shooting from over here. I did another 3-shot manual HDR. I did f/16 1/2 2.5, and I did 3 seconds and 15 seconds. And take a look at the back of the camera here. You may be able to see it's extremely bright on the 15-second, and there's the 3-second, and the 16-second gets some detail in those 2 giant lights there and the brightly lit fountain itself. So anyway, we've got lots of different shots of this thing to fiddle around with now. I like this shot from the other direction with the covered walkway above and the big lights flanking the arched walkway, and you can look through and see some of the lights on the actual Riviera Resort interior on this shot as well. And this is the one where you can see the Peter Pan mosaic tile a little bit better. Okay, thanks for watching episode 3 of my Disney photography mini-series. Hope you've been enjoying it so far. Please, if you like the content, hit the old thumbs up, and if you want to see some more, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.